your phones on silent, please, so that it won't interrupt the speaker.
We are so excited to have you all here today with Maya Adams with Curated Transitions, talking about the art of, we said downsizing, but we're going to change it to rightsizing. Yes, yeah. Before we get started, we have a couple announcements. Alexander Gardens is holding a community aging resource event. Nancy and I will be partaking in that. There's flyers on your table. If you would like more information, please let me know at the end, and we'll get you more flyers. Diane, did you have anything to add?
Just Grace Fisher has decided to come also.
Yes.
We're super excited about that.
Yes.
We're super excited. There'll be some exercise, some vital sign checking, that kind of thing.
Wonderful.
And it's in the garden, so come and have some light refreshments and just enjoy the gardens.
Yes, okay. And may I ask, are all of you familiar with Grace Fisher, or is there anyone who doesn't know about Grace? Okay, well, Grace is a very good friend of mine. She is 28 years old. When she was a senior in high school, a virus detector spine that made her quadriplegic. Through Make-A-Wish Foundation and Santa Barbara Foundation, she opened this all-inclusive arts clubhouse where she provides free dance classes, drum circle, art classes to children and adults of all abilities. And she also, at these tables, you can come in at any time and do artwork. You don't have to particularly sign up for a class. You can just come when it's convenient for you. So, and there's no charge. We would love to thank our sponsors. We have Holly here from Glen Hall, right back there. And then Maya Adams of Curated Transitions, and Grace Fisher from Clubhouse. And we have Bristol Farms here as well. Today is Senior Tuesday, so you get a 10% discount at Bristol Farms, as well as J. Jill. Anything else? We do. We'll be holding a drawing at the end of this event for J. Jill gift cards. So.
Yes. I think, the market right now, everybody wants to know about the real estate market.
Yes.
And it seems to be hot, hot, hot. We've been looking again for the fourth month for homes around 1.2 to 1.5. Can't find them. They're just getting snapped up like this, or they're just not on the market. So if anybody knows a neighbor or friend that is thinking about selling, let us know, because we have a gamut of people that are young families.
Young buyers, they're really trying to get in, and fixer or completely done. We have both types of buyers. So.
Right. And we just sold a house in March, and our seller is buying a mobile home in Ventura to be by her family. And so we've been helping with her on that journey of selling her house and then buying a mobile home. And we're closing today, so I'm sneaking out early to go over and pass the keys and the torch to our new buyer. And it's really fun to help the transition. And she's so excited to be. And it's in a 55 and over senior community down in Ventura. And she's very excited to know all her neighbors and get to meet people, because she was kind of stuck alone on the hill for a while.
As well as my Aunt Lola, we're looking at a mobile home, and we're going to be putting in an offer tomorrow. So it's really neat, these 55 and over communities.
I have a lead on a 1.5 something condo.
Wonderful.
On the first floor.
Okay.
So
We'll talk afterwards. Okay, thank you. All right, well, without further ado, Miss Maya Adams.
Good morning. So you're all interested in downsizing, I hear. Well, in my industry, we've started using a new term called rightsizing, because changing your situation in your home doesn't have to be a negative thing. It's not a down thing. It is just a transition to a new life. And being able to let go of things that no longer serve you frees your time and your energy up to focus on the things that you really love, new priorities, new social connections, and a process of letting go of the past and just letting go of things that you don't need or use anymore. So that's why I like to call it the art of right-sizing. So one section of this, but not in the other. So I'm gonna go back to what I had going on before. There we go. Okay. So, already downsized. So, who here has already downsized?
That's why we're here.
Who has been in their house for 30 plus years? Yeah. Who's looking for the tips and tricks for organizing? All of you. Right? Yeah. So, I'm Maya. I am the downsizing, right-sizing specialist. I was born and raised in Santa Barbara. I've worked with this company for plus 3 years, and I have just purchased the company because the former owner is retired. And she's now downsizing, right-sizing. I've moved 16 times in my life. I've lived up and down the East Coast. I moved to Paris for 4 years. I moved to Stuttgart for 2 years, and moved back, and now have gratefully found myself back at home. And I did manage my grandmother's affairs, and she had 7 storage sheds on the property that she lived on. Her house looked great, but it was the 7 storage sheds that I had to go through each individual. I ended up tearing them all down. I got rid of everything that was in there, except for the few choice items that are family heirlooms that I now have in my house. So I have a lot of experience in working with this type of, with this work. And I really, really love it. There's such an incredible sense of satisfaction when you can help someone process their things, and it's really an emotional process. We recognize that a lot of our clients are dealing with some sort kind of grief, whether it's the grief of a spouse or a health situation, or just the grief of leaving your house that you've been in for 30 years. We come to this work as recognizing it's really emotional. And when I describe the things that I do in my company, I'm also recommending these to you when you're doing it yourself. Give yourself breaks. When you feel an emotion coming up, it's important to feel that emotion and then work through it. And objects have positive and negative emotions attached to them, memories. So it's important to remind yourself that, you know what, emotions are gonna come up, and that's okay, and that's natural, and that's part of what this process is it's not just removing things from your home, it is working through the emotions that are attached to those things. So this was the image that I wanted to turn around. You're supposed to be seeing the head of the deer with these big eyeballs, and I'm like, how did this get turned around? So I'm like, I don't know how it got turned around, but I'm glad you're still laughing, because it is a funny image, but it turned around. So why is downsizing so stressful? Emotional attachments, lack of clarity, that's like overwhelm, right? You're just like, oh my God, there's so many boxes of photographs or whatever it is. A lifestyle change, and it's hard to imagine that new life, and it feels, it's scary to having lived your life in a certain way for many years, and to think that you're going to completely change things and have a different home and different people around you. If you're, going to a retirement community, just the too much stuff factor. And I think we can all agree to it. And there was a study done that says the United States has more stuff. Each individual has more possessions than any country in the world. We have a lot. Not enough help. And it's, friends and family can say, oh yeah, we'll help you. And sometimes that works great. And sometimes it slows things down, it makes it even more emotional, there can be conflict. So it does help to have a neutral party come in. But if you can do it yourself, great. And if you have your friends that are good with you saying, do you really need that? That's the best. And just decision overwhelm. There's actually studies being done now that I've read about decision fatigue. Decision fatigue is a real thing, because when you are having to make a decision, yes or no, or where does it go and who's gonna get it, it's exhausting. So again, that's why, because of the emotional part of it, because of the decision fatigue, you really do have to pace yourself. And so just biting off a little bit, just not even doing a room, but just, I'm just gonna do this closet, or I'm just gonna do under that bed. That makes it so it is much easier to tackle the task and feel good about it, and just do it bit by bit. So, one day, son, this will all be yours. And how many of you found that the things that you want to pass on to your kids or grandkids, they don't want it? They're not interested. I love antiques, right? I love my family heirlooms. But my son, not so much. He doesn't really care about the portraits of the great-great-great-grandfather. So we're all facing this dilemma of, okay, I have all this stuff and I don't want it, and my kids don't want it, so what do I do with it? And yes, there are donations, but what we're finding today, especially in Santa Barbara, is the charities won't take furniture, they won't take, they no longer take clear glass. They no longer take sets of china. It's because right now we're in the middle of, they call the silver tsunami, or the senior avalanche, and all the baby boomers are retiring and downsizing, rightsizing at the same time. So the market is flooded with these items, and these are things that your family has told you are valuable, or you bought it for a good sum of money, you know, in the 70s or whenever, 80s, and now you think, oh, it must have appreciated in value because that's how antiques work, right? Not today. There's too many out there. So the value of these items that you've been told are precious isn't true today. And that's heartbreaking. And that's hard because you think, wait, I should be getting some money for these things. And unfortunately, that's not where we are. And donating what we can is a good way to go. And I would have to say to you all, the absolute best way of removing things from your home and having it cost you the least amount of money and actually being able to get some money is an estate sale. And some people are like, I don't want people in my home. It's a really good option because people will come, they'll take everything away for free, they're gonna make use of it, and you can feel good about other people being able to make use of these things, furniture especially, and it costs you the least amount of work. So that is just one recommendation.
Does Catholic Charities take furniture?
Yes. Some pieces. We're finding it difficult to get rid of sofas, large dining tables, any large furniture is because they don't have the square footage in their storage or in their store to hold on to it. Little tables, little like shelves, little practical things, yes, they will take that, but not big armoires or big china cabinets. We do have a consignment store in Santa Barbara, which is right over there, and there's one down on Terrace. That can be an option if it's a certain style of furniture that might be popular. Mainly, we're talking about mid-century modern Danish teak furniture is the only furniture that's really popular today with everybody. So, you need a decluttering plan. It really helps. You don't need it, but yes, it really helps to have a decluttering plan. So, as I mentioned before, setting realistic goals and timelines, going through your home and saying, okay, I'm going to tackle this guest room, but I'm only going to work on the closet. Little bite-sized chunks of things to address, areas to address. The top shelf of the closet maybe will be filled with boxes and you don't even remember what's in them. Prioritize important spaces. I have clients right now who have some kids coming to stay with them, and they're like, we need to clear like this space out for our kids because they're gonna come for a while and they need to, put their own things, and they also want it to look a little bit nicer for their kids. So what areas of your home really need the most attention? Maybe it's the garage, maybe it's the kitchen. Somehow all of the little kitchen appliances you've been collecting all these years are now collecting dust, and you're like, I don't really need the pasta maker or the bread machine anymore. Start with one room at a time, and even just a small part of the room, and break big tasks into bite-sized pieces. How to declutter your kitchen. You want to match, I need my glasses, match items to the space you have. Really look at, has your counter space all of a sudden diminished? Is it filled with, small appliances and decorative items? How easy is it for you to open the drawers? And obviously remove duplicates, broken or unused items, and really keep only what you use and love. So ask yourself about those baking dishes, cookie sheets, how much of that type of cooking are you doing anymore? Are you still making jam and have all those glass bottles? Those are the things you have to ask yourself. And a good rule of thumb when we're looking at closets, we're looking at kitchens, we're looking at almost anything in your home is, have you used it in the last year? Have you worn it in the last year? Even 6 months? Is it something that you're regularly going to and using? And think about all the stuff in your home that has been neglected for so long. And think about how somebody else could actually use that thing, that clothes, those appliances, even sets of dishes. Now the thrift stores, they're not taking sets of china, but practical everyday dishes, they do take, which is ironic, I think, because I'm always encouraging my clients, start eating with your sterling silver. Yeah. Start using your fancy china every day. Enjoy it. Make the most of it. And I'm a big advocate of wear your most expensive jewelry. Like, just use and enjoy everything that you have, because why not? Really, why not? This is when we come up with this issue comes up a lot. People have things that they've either inherited or a friend has given to them, and they're like, I can't get rid of this. What happens if they come to my house and they see that it's not there? And it's really, you have to think about taking care of yourself. What is it, focusing on what your needs are right now. And you can have, gifts people give you, it's lovely, it's great, but if they are not serving you, and if you don't love them, you can give them a new home someplace else. And I think that it's rare when somebody actually would come to your house and be like, where's the vase I gave you 25 years ago? It's like, you know what, it was time to let it go, and I really need to open up my space. I'm feeling, the clutter is there, and I want to take care of myself, and this is how I'm doing it. You want to, obviously, you thank them, remember your organizing goals, and give you permission to let them go. And you can always re-gift. Don't tell anybody. Sentimental clutter, the hardest clutter to let go of. It can trigger feelings of guilt, sadness, and strong emotions. Tough to rehome or release because it's personal. Like, I have photo albums from my family from the teens in Los Angeles. Nobody, well, maybe some antique people, collectors are interested in those type of photos, but the photos from the 50s and the 60s and the 70s, that's only meaningful to me, and hopefully someday my son. But even like a fountain pen, and I have all these things that this belonged to Uncle Oliver, and there's things that I have that my family's like, oh, this is important because and I never knew Uncle Oliver. It was actually my great-great-uncle Oliver. And you also have to think about, do you actually like the object? Is it beautiful to you? And if it is not like something you really like, oh my God, I just love this thing so much, then it's like, it no longer serves you. And nobody really cares. You're just feeling guilt of, you're hearing voices in your head of your parents or other family members, maybe your grandmother saying, oh, this is really important, and you're like, oh, but it's really ugly. Feel free to, once again, take care of yourself and let it go.
When, were you gonna have a time to ask questions or?
Yeah, I mean, if you wanna ask questions
I
in
don't
the
wanna
middle,
interrupt you.
I'm fine, you
Okay.
can interrupt me, it's fine.
My sister-in-law, my brother passed away, she remarried, and she sent me, I asked for it, all my brother's stuff. He kept pictures of his first job, and I mean, it's a lot.
It's a
And
lot.
what am I gonna do with, I don't wanna.
What you asked for.
Yeah.
Well, you know,
No,
some of
I can
that,
get rid of the film, the projectors. I'm talking about, I like a key ring, I kept that, you know, little things like that, but I'm talking about an 8x10 picture of it. I just throw it away.
yes,
Oh.
yes. In fact, a lot of our clients, they have a pile of things that they aren't comfortable throwing away. They want us to throw it away, but they don't want us to see us do it.
Oh.
It's sort of like, however you want to deal with these things. You know, there's different ways of saying,
Yeah.
I don't have the stomach to throw this thing away, but I really don't want it anymore, and do with it what you will. And you know, if it's photographs of some other family, it's like, that gets thrown away. And I think it's time that we stop feeling the guilt, because these are not things that are meaningful to you. They were meaningful to somebody that you loved. And to be able to have just a few token items from people that you love, that you can say, gosh, this was really important to them, and it makes me feel closer to them to have this object, fine, honor that. There's nothing wrong with that. But having a whole cardboard box filled with random little things is like, it's really the best for you to go through, pick three things that you can hold on to and feel connected to that person that you love. Yes.
An example would be, my father passed away 8 years ago, and I had 4 boxes of his clothes. So I took out one sweatshirt. They stayed in my other office for a good 5 years. But my husband goes, Rach, what are we gonna do with these boxes? So I took out one sweatshirt. My son was going down to San Diego, and I said, Jacob, put all those boxes in your car and give them to Uncle Timmy. And my brother goes,
There's always that.
Sis, what do you want me to do with Dad's clothes? And I said, you do whatever you need to do with that, but you're in charge now. And he felt so good. So
Yes.
I pushed on the guilt.
There are some things that other people will want, like old photographs, particularly really old ones, say before World War II or even that.
Yes.
But even stuff from the 50s and 60s, because like collage artists will use them. So one
Yeah.
place you could take them, maybe a start from scrap and
Yes,
build.
Art from Scrap is
Yeah.
one of our favorite resources, because they will take things that the thrift stores don't want. And they take fabric, they take photographs, they take a lot of random things, little kitchen items, and because people are making art from it. So that's a really good resource. Thank you for bringing that up. To when you have a bunch of stuff and you're like, take it down to Art from Scrap. Just warning, there's so much cool stuff in there. Be careful you don't collect more.
Are they on Haley Street?
Coda.
Yeah, they're on Coda, and it's really a fun place. It's a really fun place. So this is our process and all the things that we can do. And just to give you an idea, we do downsizing, rightsizing. We do organizing and decluttering. We manage movers to make sure that the movers put things in the places that they should go to make the move most efficient. These are all the issues that can be, issues to make you move. And we do estate clearing, and we also do inventories for insurance, for people that are concerned about fires or anything, and we can go through and just identify everything in your home. We have a software that will put a little value on it, so it gives you an idea of what you actually own. Inventories are pretty interesting because it's also a way for people to go, wow, I had no idea I had so much stuff, because when you see it all in a report, then it's a reality check, because you know, you walk into your home and you're like, oh, maybe it's not so bad, but obviously when you open up closets, you go into attics, go into guest room closets, cupboards, then you see, oh, I had so much more stuff than I realized.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
I lived in a 5-bedroom house before, and now I live in a 1-bedroom tiny apartment. And I'm revealing myself, I have ADHD, so I get overwhelmed easily when I look at stuff. And I know what you're saying about one thing at a time, but there's what do we call it? Procrastination. Big problem.
Yes, yes. It is a big problem, and one of the tools, I have ADHD really bad also.
Do you really?
Yes.
I love it when I
Yes.
say that.
Yes.
But people come up
Yes.
to me and say, oh, I have that too.
Yes, yes.
It's okay, everybody.
You get, it is, it's totally okay.
It's a
And
gift.
you get easily distracted, you get overwhelmed. And one of the greatest tools I have found in really dealing with that overwhelm and the distraction is to have somebody standing right next to you, guiding you. Somebody who keeps you on track. It doesn't have to be us, it can be a friend. And they don't have to do or say anything. They're a presence there that is.
Twinning, it's called twinning.
Exactly, it's called twinning, so that you can stay on task. And you can also set a timer for yourself
That's a good one.
and say, I'm gonna work on this area or this box for 15 minutes and take a break and see how far I've gotten. And congratulate yourself for sticking with it for 15 minutes. You know, you can do something for 15 minutes. And if you feel the energy and the inspiration, come back, do another 15 minutes. But setting a timer can be another really great tool to stay on task.
And get a cute timer, not just a ball.
And get a cute timer, okay, yes, absolutely. Or you can use your phone. So, the downsizing, rightsizing in 4 phases, we plan. You can make a plan of what rooms you're gonna tackle. Then you focus on the actual going through each item. And what we do in our work is we have a couple of boxes already made. There is the donate box, there's a trash bin, and then there's a keep box. And that way, as you're going through a closet, you're able to, I mean, certainly the things you keep can just stay on the shelves or in the closet that you are. But if you're moving, then you can be putting things in a box that says to keep. And I put a big black marker, donate. And there's also a box that can be sell. And it could be, you can post it on Facebook Marketplace, on Nextdoor, things that you want to sell, furniture that you want to sell. Also, dragging things out to the curb and putting a free sign on it. In this town, it'll be gone overnight.
Community.
Really is, and you're helping people out that, you know, really need furniture and can't afford it. So then we have moves when we're when we're relocating people, and certainly look at all the different, get number of bids from different movers. We have one mover that we worked with for 10 years, and I mean, the previous owner worked with them for 10 years. I worked with them for 3. Really love them, really know how to manage these types of moves. And then phase 4 is the settle part, which is what we do is we pack, we manage the move, we unpack, and we organize the new space so everything has a place. We put labels, if you want labels on items so you're not so disoriented when you move into the new space and you're like, where are my socks? Oh, okay, they're right there. And in the kitchen. And they can be removable, because I've also had clients say, I can look in a drawer and see what's in it. It's like, okay, that's fine, perfectly fine. And there's another phase of this process, and that is the clearing out of the estate. So if you're moving and you're moving to a smaller space, and all the stuff that is left over in your home, we will go through. I encourage people to have an estate sale. We also have relationships with auction houses, liquidators, consignment stores. So there are actually many different ways of going. If you have particularly high value, or a few very high value items, pieces of art, sometimes the best way to go is an auction house, and that is something we can facilitate. Or I can just give you names of auction houses to contact. I'm happy to give you names of the sources that we have if you want to do this yourself. So, phase 1, timeline, furniture space plan, furniture inventory. These are all the things you need to keep in mind if you're moving to a new space. Of how, when is actually move day? How far in advance do you start with your sorting process, your packing process? And then how long is it going to take for you to get settled and moved into the new space? Doing a furniture space plan is really important, particularly when you are moving to a smaller space, because one of the things we do is that when we go into the new space, we measure how much hanging space is in the closet. So if you've got 6 feet, then we go to your old closet and we put tape in it 6 feet. So you can only fill this space with the clothes that you're taking with you. So it's a visual guide that is really helpful, so that you know exactly, and then you're like, oh, okay, so I can't take all the other stuff. It's like, no, you can't. I mean, you can, but it would, your clothes would be all smushed together. So you have to do what's right for you and what's comfortable for you in the way you live your life. So these are guidelines, but there's, we always take into account everybody's particular way of living, and honor that completely. So the furniture space plan, of course, is important, so that you know that your 7-foot couch or 8-foot couch is going to work in the space or it's not. And your big high boy, is it going to fit into the bedroom? Is it going to be blocking a window? We take, we measure how low the windows are in the space, making sure that everything is going to fit. And the big thing when we're moving furniture into a new space is to think about safety, and safety in being able to walk around, so that there aren't things jutting out next to a door. We don't want anybody tripping on anything. We often encourage people to not bring rugs, because it becomes a tripping hazard. And you may be perfectly mobile now, but if there's, in the future, those are things that are important to think about. If you're beginning to feel like you might struggle with walking, or you will need a walker. Nobody wants to think about these things. I know that. But it's what we keep in mind when we're moving people into a new space, to make sure there's plenty of space to walk around. Or for your friends, to come and visit you and have a safe space to walk around in. And then the furniture inventory, just knowing exactly what you're taking with you. Yes, curate. We will help review all the items that you want to take, and as I talk about what we do, it's always a recommendation. This is what you can do on your own. So have somebody with you, as we've said many times, to help you ask the difficult questions. One of the questions I ask people when they're looking at a closet, and they have, like, let's say they have 10 pairs of black pants, and it's like, is there a pair of pants or 2 pairs of pants that you always go to? you have all these choices, but usually we have a couple of favorites. A favorite sweater, a favorite dress-up outfit, a favorite tie, a favorite, any number of things that you always reach for, and the other ones just sort of keep it company, but they never really do anything. Those are the things that you're like, you know what? I always choose this item before the other ones. I can get rid of the other ones. Or maybe have a choice of 2 as opposed to a choice of 10. And that's true with sets of china, dishes, all the things we can have multiples of. It's like, which is my favorite? What are the things that I love, that give me the most joy? That's what we always focus on when we're working with clients in decluttering. Really focusing on the things are your favorites. So move day, it's really important to keep track and on top of the movers. Because they can be the best movers in the world and they still don't read where the box is supposed to go. And it's important to really keep in mind that movers, we really appreciate their strength, but it makes things so much more efficient when you're able to say, that goes into the kitchen, that goes into the guest room, that goes into the master bedroom, and directing them, and they need that direction all the time, and making sure, no, the bed is gonna face this window, and so that while they're there, you can take advantage of their strength and their ability to place things where they need to go, and then we can come in, or your friends or your family can come in afterwards and just put things away. But having everything in place is really important and makes things more efficient. You want this, moving is, no matter what, it's a challenge and it's stressful, and you want it to go as quickly as possible and efficiently as possible. All right, phase 4, the settling in. By the end of move day, your home for the most part can look like it's ready to go. Usually when we're working with a client, we'll have the bed made, the bathroom is all set up, and the kitchen is all set up, so that you can spend your first night in your home comfortably. And then the next day is when we fine tune everything, we get the art on the wall, we get everything put away in all the cupboards, everything's organized, everything's labeled. Settling, it usually takes a day and a half with my team, and with your family, or if you're just doing it with a friend, it's gonna take longer. But it is, just know that you have options. We can help you with that process, or somebody else should be helping you with that process. So once again, you don't get overwhelmed in trying to find a place for everything. 80+ hours is what it can take to manage all of the things that go into moving. We've got packing, changing of a dress, picture hanging, professional cleaning, staging, handyman, donation drops-offs. Moving is chaotic, it can be, but when you have a good plan, it really can be more smooth, more methodical, and more relaxing. And I look at our job, really the essence of our job is to reduce your stress. It's to reduce your family stress. It's to reduce the stress of the realtor, or the fiduciary, or the wealth manager. There's many people that can be involved in your move, and your stress, for sure. And of course, no matter what, a move is going to be stressful. But really, as a business, we look at just taking on all of that and making it smooth and methodical and just a lot easier than if you didn't have anybody helping you. So our concierge services, we sort, we declutter, we organize, we do estate clearing, and we do inventory. And we also do any part of the moving process we can do. We can just come in and help declutter your space. And that's it. Or some people are moving out of state, so we can come in and just pack you up and connect you with another move manager wherever you're moving to that's within the organization that we belong to, which is the National Association of Senior and Specialty Move Managers, and connect you with somebody that has the same rating and the skill level that we have. So it's a continuum to help you out. And then, or we'll just do an estate clearing, or we can just do an inventory. So, how to stay clutter-free? That's a big question, right? One of our rules is when you bring, one of my personal rules as well, when I bring something into my home, I gotta take something out. Keep the cycle moving so that you're not just bringing things in, but you're also on a continual basis, continually have a donate box in your home. So when you run across things, you're just like, oh, okay, I don't need that, or, ooh, I just went shopping. Okay, now let me look at my closet and see all the things that are worn out, or have stains, or just don't fit, or I just don't ever wear that. Or I loved that piece of clothing, I'm over it now. It's just not me anymore. And the same with dishes and anything else in your home, art even. And I'm guilty of this one. I like to collect art, and I do have a storage shed filled with art. That's my guilty pleasure. But now I'm trying to, when I bring art, when I buy a piece of art, I try to look at what I've got and say, you know what? I can let go of this, and have it be a constant cycle of removing, adding and removing, so things don't build up. One in, one out rule. Standardize your storage solutions. Being consistent with like storage baskets, trying to keep everything the same, looking the same, actually helps the space look more organized. Having a bunch of things that don't match makes it look more cluttered, even though it's the same container. But if you visually want to have something more continuum and look at more clear, going with having all the same container on a shelf, for example, that's going to make your space look clearer. Clear bins and closets, natural fiber bins on shelves. And clear bins are so helpful because labeling is great, but when you can just take a peek at it and go, oh yeah, that's the ski stuff, that it just makes your life easier. You're spending less time looking for things, and makes your time more efficient. All right, start decluttering, smart decluttering strategies. The 4-box method: keep, donate, sell, trash. Apply the 80-20 rule. We only use 20% of our things, so keep that in mind. Ask, does this item add value to my life today? Have I used this item in the last year? Does it still fit? Sentimental attachments. Would you keep it? Why keep it? Is it beautiful to you? Does it have good memories attached to it? Why is it hard to let go? What helps you decide? Would it be better to serve someone else? Does it spark joy? All right, resolutions. Set your intentions. Commit to the progress, not perfection. You know, be happy with the 15 minutes you spent in that closet. And hire help. And 2026, year you can simplify. Do it today. So, why work with a move manager? Personalized services, in-home support, specializes in organizing, moving, and estate clearing. What I tell my clients when I come in and do an assessment in their home is I say, and I've never been wrong, I guarantee you we will make you laugh. And that's a really important element to this process because it is hard. It can be sad. There is painful emotions that come up. But when you have somebody, whether it's a friend or family or a professional service that can lighten things up, it just makes it so much easier. And it can be fun. It can be painful and stressful, but it also can be fun. They can all be happening at the same time. So, call me to discuss a plan. And this is our team. These are my Virginie and Suzette have been working with me for a number of years. We're kind of the core of the team. I also have other team members that help pack, but we can come in and make you laugh and have some fun and lighten this up. So that's it for now. Any questions?
What's your average cost?
Average cost, it's a really good question. We charge $110 per hour per person. And so the cost is reflective of how much stuff do you own? How many things are we gonna have to process? And there can be people that live in large homes that actually don't have much. They're very minimal. And there's people that can live in very small homes and they're packed to the gills. And it is very dependent. I have to go in and see your home to determine what is it going to be. We have jobs that are $5,000. We have jobs that are $25,000. It really depends on how complicated your move is. There are people, the things are getting sent to family members and I'm organizing U-Pods and car delivery, and it just depends on how complicated it is. The other most critical factor in determining the price for us is your ability to make decisions. And there are people that are be like, okay, that's done, I'm over that, okay, and they can just go through and it's easy. There are people that need more time, and we try to be as efficient and supportive as we can. And there's people that, no matter what, you're gonna change your mind about something, that's a given. But if you're a person that changes your mind a lot, that's gonna make it take more time. So it's a tough question to answer.
So renting the pod and the movers, et cetera, are added onto the hourly fee or included in the
The hourly fee covers what the team is doing at your home. And then there is a 10% administration fee that is taken from the labor hours that have been accrued. And that 10% covers all the behind the scenes, coordinating, talking to the movers, arranging the U-Haul, arranging the car delivery, communicating with you, your children, your wealth manager. All that behind the scenes stuff is covered by 10% of what the labor costs end up being.
So if I have to get a pod, that would be covered in the 10% or not?
The arranging of the pod.
The arranging of the
Yes,
pod.
not the cost of the pod.
Okay, that's what I mean.
Yeah, the cost of the pod is separate.
Okay.
When I give an assessment, I do include an idea of what the movers are gonna be. I give a general idea of what the supplies are gonna be. I give an idea of what the shredding cost will be. We do specialize in going through people's papers so that you are sure to have the last 7 years of your medical, your financial, your taxes, obviously. And we also look for the documents for any improvements that you've made on your house so that when you sell your home, you have all the basis materials for the capital gains, things, the write-offs that you need for your home. And then we have a shred pile, so your privacy is of utmost importance to us. So any sensitive documents that have social security numbers, bank numbers, personal information, medical information, that all goes in the shred box. And so that's another service that we provide to help people go through all those papers that you've collected in your filing cabinets all these years. And we can reduce it down so that you've got like maybe a box or two of, a banker's box or two of files, and you don't need all of those files that you have had your whole life. Yes?
How important is it to keep hard copies of things rather than
Digital?
digital? Yes.
This day and age, it's not so important to have hard copies. I think hard copies of wills, of those, the estate planning information, that can be very important. It's like, number one, you could all throw away all of the manuals to everything in your home, because all manuals are now online. It just depends on how comfortable you are in searching for a manual online and reading it. So like, hard copies of healthcare, some healthcare, tax documents, those are things that, and most people just wanna hold on to those things, whether they actually need it or not, it remains to be seen, because you can really go online, print out your insurance documents, your, you know, everything is really digitalized, even healthcare stuff. You know, my chart, it's all there.
Do you have any, excuse me, do you have ideas of who you can, go to online to sell like clothes to, or?
Yeah, I mean, there's a number of places. There's eBay, there's Poshmark.
How do you use eBay? That's the other thing.
That's a whole nother topic.
Are there directions for that?
Yeah, there are directions for that.
There's a YouTube video for it.
Okay.
There you go. There you go. Yes. Did you have another question?
I had a question. Do you have any ideas for disposing of textiles that are, you know, clothing that's not gonna be able to be used again, but you don't wanna just throw them in the trash?
State Street,
Well, for clothes that are like very worn, the first thing that comes to mind is art from scrap. You know, if it's a particularly interesting design of fabric, if it's like, you know, if it's silk velvet, if it's certain of certain interest for somebody that could make a quilt, or, you know.
I don't think Marburg takes textile recycling, do they?
No. Good question.
What about, Humane Society they like towels?
They take towels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take towels.
The other thing that I gave things to, because you said the charity shops are not taking so much, is buy nothing site. And I gave away all my Christmas ornaments in smaller sets, and people were very appreciative. I don't want to sell anything, I just wanted it gone.
Right.
Somebody else wanted it.
Right.
So that's a nice site.
Sorry, who are you saying you gave that to?
Buy nothing site, it's online.
Oh, buy nothing.
People search for stuff, they say I'm in search of a planter that's this size or whatever, and somebody always has whatever they're searching. It seemed to be started by parents that were trying to recycle, you know, as kids are growing out of stuff, but now there's everything on there.
That's a great tip. It's a really.
But then you pay the shipping to get it to someone.
Oh, it's all local.
Oh, it's all
I'm on the
local.
Santa Barbara Mesa
Oh,
group.
okay.
Yeah, no, they're all by area.
Got
So
it.
people, and
Perfect.
a lot of people you see on there, when you read their ads, it says porch pickup, because then you don't have to
Yeah.
wait for somebody to come and get it, you don't have to have them in your house, but they're just happy to, I even had a breast cancer ornament, somebody wanted it, and I went, great. You know, and then I gave all my other ornaments by color, and it was fine, it was great to get rid of them.
No, that's a really good resource.
Nextdoor.com has a, you know, buy, sell.
Nextdoor, Craigslist.
They have a free list too.
Yeah, all of those are good resources.
It's just that they don't sell anything, there's a Santa Barbara swap site that sells stuff, but buy nothing, there's no money.
Yeah,
You know.
that's great. Anybody else?
Yes.
Yeah.
I have something I call the what if mentality. A whole section of my closet is, what if, I don't wanna have to buy a full length gown, whatever it is.
Yes,
So what if I get invited out to a ball or a gala?
right,
Not
right.
exactly true, but.
Absolutely. I think,
For
you
example.
know, we all have those few items that are like, I hope I could wear this someday. You know?
More than a few,
Yeah, just a
if we're
few.
measuring, you know,
Right,
by the
right.
closet
It's
space.
just a matter of, you know, are there 30 pieces of clothing in that section? Are there 5? And it's all about a matter of scale, really, and a matter of, you know, I'd say, you know, 3 to 5 contingency items, you know, in any kind of category. Yes.
How do you find an appraiser that come in and appraise some books?
Oh, I have a number of resources and I can give them to you. You can contact, Lost Horizons, the owner of Lost Horizons will come in and,
Jerry, right?
yeah.
Yeah, he helped a client of ours and he was wonderful.
Yeah.
And there were some books from
Yes.
the 18th or the 19th century.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have them by name, but in my contacts, I have book people, I have record people, I have specific people that'll come in and give you cash and take it away.
Take it to the junior leagues for their book sale.
The
Yeah.
Planned
Yeah.
Parenthood.
Yeah.
Planned
Yeah.
Parenthood
Yeah.
does the book
Yeah.
sale, but Junior
Yes.
League has even their, they used to call it Beverly Hills North, I don't know what they call it, that one room, they do the sale at the Cabrillo Rec Center annually. And so the upscale stuff goes in there, so.
Yeah, there's a number of charities in town actually that you can use.
Women's Assistant League.
Hmm?
Women's Assistant League.
Yeah.
Where is it now?
The one on
Community friendly.
Community
Yeah,
friends.
Yes, yeah, so, yeah, there are resources in town.
What about something like a painting, a valuable painting, but it's using it's valuable, but maybe it's not so people get it.
So I have, relationships with liquidators who are also art appraisers and also specific art appraisers. I have a number of different art appraisers, and it's really dependent on the style of art. And I also have relationships with Sotheby's, John Moran, Frank Kaminsky, David Rago auction houses. So they will come, normally what I do is I'll come in, I'll take photographs of everything. If there's a couple of items that I think that they might be interested in, depending on the type, I will send a photo, and if they're interested, then they'll come out and take a look at it, or they'll do research on it and give you an idea of